Koko. Koko showed up with um what's his name? Enki. They were like, hey, Ryzen Jr. Ryzen Jr., what's going on? We are here to, see, you and, pay our respects to Ryzen and everything else. And she was crying because she was like, before I ended up with Enki, I was with you. But then you went and found that whore in, human world and you fucked around with her. And then, we stayed away from each other and she was just crying. She was drunk as fuck. And he was like, that's my girl. Enki said, Coco's my girl. She's a little firecracker. She's all, she's one of them girls that's like fired up and is all that, does all that extra stuff, gets loud and gets angry and, she's kind of impulsive and shit. But he still likes her and, keeps her around and stuff, but, Koko, went into the tournament too. She's an S-class apparition just like, Enki is. She fought with, Ryzen, back when, like, there was no border between human world and demon world. And, like, they ran around and, like, just killed shit, because they wanted to. And then, like, demon world became demon world, the three realms and shit. But, she was also, a part of that tournament. She didn't do too much. She probably let the liquor get to her if I was, to guess. I didn't see her, it never showed her fights, but I knew she was, still powerful. She's an S-class oppression, upper S-class. When you, like, look this shit up, it says upper S-class for all these animals. I said, damn, upper. That means they're, like, the top. There's nobody else there. It's those 9 demons and Makuro, Yomi, and Yusuke, Hiei and Kurama. But that being said, Koko, her strength's at 96, speed at 95, durability at 94, 94 for endurance, 93 for intelligence, and 98 for experience, 92 for close skills, and a 92 for range skills. Recoups a 92 and a 95 for hacks, so our overall power score is a 94.1 for Koko. Koko, the demon that is on Enki's dick. That's his girl. And then in the 2-shot, the OVA, she's giving him, a back massage because that's what she did. She actually does like Enki, because she's the demon king. But be cool on the corner and don't hate.